Duchess is in here.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Happy Magic Monday. We're live. We're live. You said, oh, wait, hold on. Way too late. It was already in process. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hello, gorgeous.
Hello.
If you hear any noise in the background, my little dog is in here snoring.
I'm trying to pull up. Oh, there we are. We're here. Oh, and so is Tori.
Tori's here too. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know you're here, where you're tuning in from. Say good morning. We're so excited.
Rianne says, hi, ladies.
Yay.
Cool. Well, we are sharing some fun thoughts. We've been talking a lot this morning after our weekends, and talking about all the frequency shifts, all that has shifted and changed, and how we adjust and welcome in frequency shifts. And we're just gonna kind of like riff on
what our riff.
Yeah.
We're gonna riff. I like it.
Ricker.
Riff. Well.
Oh, Heather said, good morning. Love sharing Mondays with you both. We love sharing Mondays with you, Heather.
Thanks for being here. Yay.
Being here.
Well, I know there's so much going on. Did you watch that video I sent you on TikTok about the Schumann resonance? You forgot right after we hung up, right?
Yeah, and it was only like 15 minutes before we were getting on this call, and you're like, oh, watch that. I'm like, okay, I will. And then I didn't.
Well,
I don't know.
Huh?
Like, what the hell did I do instead? I don't know.
Probably nothing. But there's this, the Schumann resonance is the frequency of the earth, and they have a computer way, and there's a website you can go to. I'm going to see if I can just pull up that video real quick. So just to show you the picture, not to play the video, I will actually pause it when he gets to that part of the video. But it shows the frequency of the earth and the frequencies that are going. It has a picture, and the frequencies yesterday created an image that's unlike that has ever been seen. And this gentleman is just about there. He's okay, I paused it. So you can see this is what the Schumann resonance usually looks like normally. And look at this design it has. It's like so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, get out in the sun, like we're receiving this high frequency energies, light and wisdom, and to go lay in the sun today, get at least 10 minutes in the sun, receive and receive the information, receive the light and information, receive the codes, receive the frequencies. It's ascension frequencies, which for me, and you can talk about a little bit about your experience because you didn't even watch the video. You didn't even watch the video. But what that means is that information is being revealed to us, divine information, right? Because being in the human body, we chose this experience of great limitation, right? And so there's so much we don't know. And we like to believe, some people are out there saying why it's been hidden from us, who are the villains that hid it from us. But the truth is we just hid it from us to be able to have this really dense physical experience. And now it's being revealed to us because we're choosing to, it's not because we earned it, it's because now we're ready to remember who we are. And you and I have talked about before in medicine, like the great forgetting, like the more we forget, the more joyful and exciting the remembrance is. And so, but you had a great story this morning about the sun yourself, and you didn't even know about this.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this, and the full story is too long for Magic Monday. But I did do a Hape ceremony, and my intention was for my true self to embody. We all have our true self, and then we have aspects that make up the ego, right? And some of the main aspects that people are more familiar with are like the inner child or the inner critic, right? But our ego is made up of lots of aspects of self, and so my practice is to bring in my true self, embody my true self. When we're sitting often in our ego, which is what we do as humans, then that true self can kind of be pushed out, and we like hover. We hover and witness our life as opposed to being in the body and experience it as our true self. And so my Hape experience was to bring in, to embody my true self, and support those aspects of selves, and feeling safe to move out of the way so I can operate as the true self. And so I did all of that. It was fantastic. It was so good. And I'm going to skip to the other part. So I went to go do a coffee run for me and Courtney. And Courtney is the nanny who's here every day, and I love going and getting us some coffee. So I park and I'm walking into the coffee shop, and I'm like recognizing how everyone is smiling at me and like waving at me, especially like all the gentlemen. I'm like, what am I wearing today? Just some yoga pants and like this Cheers Beaches shirt, you know? I'm like, what's looking so good, fellas? Tell me what I missed. And I'm just like, just noticing how people are taking notice of me, right? And as I'm walking, I look up a little like this, and I see like the bottom part of the sun. And I look up and I'm like, wow, the sun is gorgeous. And I'm witnessing, literally looking at the sun, and just like, this is the most beautiful thing. I love seeing the sun from this point of view, is what I was getting at. Was like, whoa, it looks amazing here. And I'm like letting it seep into my skin. It was probably like 4, 5, 6 seconds, somewhere in there. And then I immediately, as I'm staring at the sun, I'm not exaggerating, I'm staring at the sun with my fucking eyes. And then I went, oh my God, my eyes, oh, I'm looking straight at the sun. Oh, that hurt. Right? Did it hurt? Isn't it supposed to hurt? Walked inside and I'm like, what the hell? I just stared at the sun. It's like 8:30 in the morning. It's not a sunrise. It's not a sunset. I was gazing at the sun the way I would look at the moon. And as far as I know, that would cause blindness or something, right?
So we've been told.
So we've been told. Wouldn't that like hurt your eyes? And I just had this quick thought of like, oh my God, I'm looking at the sun. Ow! Right? But it didn't hurt. I just thought it should hurt. And so what I'm noticing is the true self being embodied, like, oh, there's the sun. It's beautiful from this perspective. And then my fucking ego, like, bitch, that hurts. My sun. It's the sun. Right? And so I look away real quick. And then mom's telling us all of you, all of me's, about this, about that Schumann thing, and
Human resonance.
Resonance. I thought you were saying Schumann residence. It's all making so much sense now. It's making so much more sense. Anyway, everybody, I looked at the sun. I think I got Schumann residence. Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
So that's so good. So the point I want to make, if there's a point,
I don't even know.
We decided to come in and just start sharing our conversations, because Megan and I talk on the phone for about an hour every morning, right? At least an hour. And these are our conversations. We're not talking about the weather, right? Like, we're talking about expansion. And I want to bring awareness.
We did talk about the sun.
We talk about the sun, but that's not the weather. The weather. um, but the point is that you set an intention to embody your whole self, right? It wasn't something, you went into it mindfully and you got results. And so that's what I want to share too, is that you and I live so mindful. So mindful. And speaking of frequency changes, and something I did that was super mindful last week is I'm having oral surgery. I actually had this tooth extracted. I now have a mouthpiece in with a fake tooth, and I have bone implants, and I'm going in next Monday to get this side done and get some more bone implants. And from as early as I can remember, I have feared the medical community. I don't know where it comes from. I know that when I was born, it was not a good experience when I was born. I mean, the doctors did not know what the hell they were doing. That's my story. They ended up breaking my arm. I was bruised all over my body when they thought they were trying to break the bags of water, and they were actually poking me with the hook, and so maybe that is why I don't trust the medical community. I know when I had my first baby at 15, I was like, I don't want any medication. I did not trust them, right? And so now, I have had very few medical procedures. I've had my tubes tied, I've had my wisdom teeth out, and now I'm having this done. 3 things, right, in 53 years. And so I was feeling really nervous about, I had these fears. What if I'm worse off than I am now? And we talked about doing the worksheets of Byron Katie last week. And so I went to a worksheet with that. I went mindfully and started questioning my thoughts about this fear and these images that I was having. And what it brought to me was actually to oneness, and actually the experiences we've had in medicine. I was right there, and I could see the doctor who was going to be doing the work on my mouth as me, as an aspect of me, as just another aspect of me that has come into my life to support my health. And it just was so mind-blowing and so freeing to not have this separation between me and this person that I actually need to support my health. So that was mind-blowing. And then I was just sharing with you this morning, I know I've had some gum infection, and now having that cleared out, I think it was playing so much into my health that I wasn't even recognizing, because it wasn't like a big deal, right? I didn't have a lot of pain. It flared up occasionally, but now having it cleared out, because I could trust this process and I could move through my fears, because I put it off for a year and a half because I was scared to death, right? I was like, no, I don't need to do that. I can fix it myself. Yeah. And that, just being mindful into inquiry, checking the reality, the truth of my thoughts, has freed me up emotionally, mentally, and physically. That is a huge frequency change.
That is a huge frequency change. And it's, I'm remembering this question that a mentor of mine asked me a couple of years ago. And I think it goes here. Now, Byron Katie takes us a lot deeper, and you've done a lot of deep work. But for this particular live right now with you all, is who would that person be in your life, right? For Michelle, it was the doctor, the dentist, or any doctor. But who might that person be without your story of them, without your judgment of them? And that's a great entry point for a practice of oneness, which is, I am here for them and they are here for me. We are all one, like regardless, like beyond all of the differences and the separations and this and that, is can you actually see the person in front of you beyond your story about them?
Yes, that's huge.
Right? Yeah. What a fun question to go through this day. Like, even like the person at the counter. Oh my God, Scott is so good at this. He's so good at imagining, at not imagining who people are. Right? I see someone in like when I'm maybe going around my day unconsciously and unaware and just like on auto, right? Just on autopilot, and see someone's behavior and go, oh, they must be blah, blah, blah. Whereas Scott very easily has no story, right? Has no story of what they must be or what they must be like or what must be going on with them. And so he's able to connect with them quite quickly and easily because he's not filtering through his own judgment.
So
and
good.
so what a great question for everyone today is, who would that person, whether it be someone you're, driving next to in traffic or even a doctor, who would they be without your story of them?
So good, because we put so much limitation on people, and we talk about this because energetically, here's more frequency. When we are thinking a thought, we are holding the frequency of that thought. And so if we're holding a low frequency thought about a person, right, especially as the powerful people that we are, right? Like I coach this with people. Like, if you learn to work with the energetics, you can transform everything, because most people are not working with the energetics. They're only responding to your energetics. But when we're holding that low frequency thought, people are responding to that frequency of thought, and they will respond in resonance to that lower frequency. So you'll actually get what you expect, and then you'll walk away going, see, I was right.
Yeah. And the human loves that, loves to be right. And our mind is always looking for validation to our bias.
Yes.
Which is why we are often talking about and practicing being in alignment with our true self and tapping into intuition, which doesn't really care about the story, right? But our mind is like, who am I in relation to this person? Who am I in relation to the world? Where our true self knows who I am at all times, regardless of what's out here. But the mind goes, oh, I am this when that person acts that way. Oh, I am not safe if it is a doctor, right? Like, whatever the story is. And then we actually find examples of how that is true. And that's why we're set free when we begin to live our life as not our thoughts, as not our emotions, as our higher true self, as listening to intuition instead of stories or programming.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. It's total
Human
freedom.
residence.
Yeah.
Great place.
It's a great place to live. It's a great residence. It's a resonant resident. But I love that, because we talked about, we've talked about time freedom, money freedom, right? And you and I, in making this discovery and doing this work, it was like, oh, that's the freedom. And I remember years ago listening to somebody, I don't remember who, but them saying something like, when you access this level of freedom, then money doesn't matter to you anymore. Then, your circumstances don't matter to you. And I'm like, no, right? That can't be true. I was in total resistance to that. Now I get it. Like, this is true freedom. We can have peace and harmony no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some messages. Let me see.
Oh, good.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. There we go. Okay. The ancestors I talked to mentioned lodestone, a magnetic stone, Also, a dog approached me twice amongst 20 dogs called Schumann, definitely a magnetic energy field message. And then this is really useful when you want to go into a meeting and make a pitch and overcome self-limitation.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And the lodestone too. I have not been able to find a lodestone. I'm going to have to look online and see if I can find it. But that was what I wanted to say to you too, Megan, is like embodying your true self. And that makes you magnetic. That makes you magnetic. That's why everybody was smiling at you like you were like a pillar, right?
Yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So good. So working on ourselves is the number one thing we can do to shift the world. You and I, since doing medicine, it's like the world doesn't need to change, right? And it doesn't. But our experience of the world shifts because we're doing the work. We're exploring like what is true and what is not true.
Mm-hmm.
And so that shifts the frequency.
Yeah. And it is a freedom that I wish I could just like scream from the mountaintops that you guys, I'm a business consultant. I help people make more money. And you know what my income goal is for the year? God's will.
God's will.
Divine will. Because I have never been more fulfilled and satisfied in my life. And it had nothing to do with my account. It had nothing to do with the money in my account. That I was like, finally like, oh, I get it. It's always already available. It's always already available. Everything that we want, this heaven on earth is actually always already here. And like you just said, Mom, that doing the work inside, it's not about changing the world so then everyone can be happy. I mean, who said it? If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. If you want to change the world, go home and love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Go home and go home, literally come home to yourself. Can you embody as your true self instead of these ego aspects that go, I need to go fix this part of the world so that those people are happy. And a great example of this is Scott just came home from a plant medicine. He just came home from a plant medicine retreat. He was journeying, and this morning, as we were getting ready, he broke down and was crying, and I'm like, oh, what? And I don't even know if I can tell a story without crying. And he said, I'm here. This is what I always prayed for, is where we are right now. This was the life that I prayed for. And he's always already had it, right? Like we were here for a long time and now his eyes are open like, oh, I am at the destination. We're always already arrived, right? We've already arrived. And he could actually see it because he's embodied with his true self instead of like, well, I need the babies to get a little older. I need them to be a little easier. When we have this amount in the account or this amount in investments, and then I can relax. No, it was like, whoa, I'm here. I've already arrived, right? I have risen. Here I am. I am here.
Yes.
Okay? And then how he has loved his family since being home. He's always really great at loving his family, but this is like another level, right? And so now he's rippling into our family, that then ripples into me, that then ripples into my clients, and then my clients ripple into their family and into theirs, and he ripples into our children who ripple into the kids that they're at school with. That's how heaven on earth is lived. It's not by standing at the mountaintop telling everyone that they're doing it wrong and I need to go fix this so that people can be happy. It's coming home to self.
So good. Coming home to self. Coming home to self. Know thyself.
Yeah. There's one more comment, and then I think we could, wrap up. How do you guys keep your vibration high? I need to pitch my writing project to alternative therapies and get them on board to sponsor my story.
Ooh, fun.
Ooh, that is great. I love that, Rianne. So there's actually two different pieces to this between how do you keep your vibration high. And for me, that is inquiry, inquiry, inquiry all the time. A lot of what we're talking about here as a daily practice, not as a 30-minute, okay, I meditated and now I'm ready. It's in the conversations I have. It's in the passing a stranger. It's in the connection with Scott. How am I showing up? Who I'm being is who I'm becoming. So always noticing the thoughts that are happening. And when I have a judgment, I take it to inquiry and I do the work by Byron Katie every single day. I mean, I have so many clients that I offer this insight to, and I hear almost every single day, well, I didn't do it on paper, but I did it in my mind.
Yeah, well, it's not the same.
It's not the same. Well, I didn't write my gratitudes. I didn't write my manifestations, but I thought about it while I laid in bed. It's not the same. I am in a living practice of this, and it expands. It expands our capacity to hold high vibration. And when I did that embodiment this morning, my whole body goes like this. It shakes like this, right? Because our true self has such a high vibration that the body goes, what the hell, right? And to be able to maintain that vibration is mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and inquiry helps with that. The other piece of your question here is, I need to pitch my writing project to alternative therapies and get them on board to sponsor my story. You have an attachment there and an idea that, one, you need to do it, and two, that it's your job to talk them into it. And kind of like what I just shared, that my goal for the year, whether it be income or even business, is divine will. Is I do not need to do anything. I do not need to convince anyone of anything. It just happens. What I do is when an opportunity is given, I trust myself to take that opportunity and do all that I can. So when I see an opportunity, like, ooh, I get to pitch my writing, not I need to. Ooh, I get to. Let them see this. I give it my freaking all without the attachment that they need to see it, that they should see it, that this is the way. It is, hey, I get to show up as fully expressed me. Here it is. Take it or leave it. And in the taking or in the leaving is my very next step for what is next, for what next opportunity there is.
Yes, I love that. And I would like to add too, that is perfect, is that being in integrity with yourself is how to keep your frequency high, right? If you're going against your intuition, or doing anything out of obligation or people pleasing, that depletes, that lowers your frequency. So being in integrity with yourself, and clearing that every day. If you need to have a hard conversation, if you need to share something, that is the way to stay clear also. And then just like with me and the doctor, see the publishers or who you're pitching to as an aspect of yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, God, those are good.
Good, yeah. We love those questions, right? Love it.
Yes. Well, this was a great conversation, everyone. Happy Magic Monday.
It was a lot of fun. I will not be here next week. Nope, I won't be on Magic Monday next week because I have another surgery. So, it'll be different. Either Megan will be here or we'll postpone it. We'll just see what flows and what feels right. But we would love to hear, your thoughts on frequency, but comment below any questions, any thoughts, any ahas that you had during our conversation, and we'll pop in and respond.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have an amazing day. See you next time.